Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the GCS Connect Leaders series. We have Ihab Mahna, who's the CEO of Zeetta Networks today. Really interesting conversation. And what I really like about what Zeetta are doing is disrupting this idea of how telecoms or connectivity, as I learned, can really provide great customer service. So it's about basically how we look at connectivity, how we look at telecoms and networks, how that links into the cloud, and how people like Ihab and change our mentality there and deliver great innovation. So he's doing a lot of important stuff within the industry, and he's a veteran of the industry. So it's great to see new disruptors kind of coming out of that area and that sector. So I think you'll really enjoy this conversation. Thanks very much. Ihab, hi, nice to see you. How are you today?
Hi, David.
Welcome to another episode of the GCS Connect Leaders series. We have Ihab Mahna with us today. He is the CEO of Zeetta Networks. I just discussed with Ihab what Zeetta Networks does, and it's basically about helping networks to be used as cloud for a service. But as you know, with the format of these, I usually get people to explain how what their businesses do and companies do. I think you'll be able to kind of explain it better. But Ihab has got 20 plus years experience in the industry. I believe you actually met one of our colleagues at an ambassadors event, didn't you? You have
Yes,
recently,
yes,
so Canadian ambassadors. So that's quite interesting. I showed my age to Betty, who is our online community, by starting to talk about the Ferrero Rocher advert, which I'm sure a few of you listeners will know. But she didn't have a clue what I was talking about with the ambassadors event, and I don't think Ihab did either. So anyone answers on a postcard, anyone that remembers the Ferrero Rocher ambassadors Ferrero Rocher advert is great. But it's great to have you with us today, Ihab. You're talking us from Dublin, right, today?
yes, yeah, correct.
Fantastic. And how long have you been out there in Dublin?
About 3.5 years now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And interestingly, if we keep the background on the video, we have different rooms in our London office, and I'm actually in the Dublin room today. So I think you can see the Liffey in the background there, or the or Temple Bar or something like
Well,
that. So it's almost
I
as if I'm in
appreciate
Dublin
you
as well.
making me home. So
Yeah, good stuff. So Ihab, please tell us a bit more about Zeetta and your role with the company.
So Zeetta is set to provide a solution for software as a service solution for enterprise market, and to make them use connectivity and cloud as easy as they use the cloud today. So
Sure.
as easily as they use the cloud today. So that's basically what we're set to deliver.
Fantastic. And one of the things we talk about, obviously, in terms of kind of leadership, and this is obviously you're the CEO of this. Would you say this is something that you're driving yourself? Have you identified a kind of gap in the market, as it were? And this is where if we can do this, this will be game changing both for the business and also for industry, I guess.
That's correct. So my role as a CEO is to set the vision of the company, validate the vision, work with customers, work with my team, work with investors, and deliver to that vision. Basically,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And
my job.
how many people do you have working for Zeetta at the moment?
We are about 26 now.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so it's been a rapid growth. It must be kind of exciting times, and we're talking to quite a few. We had a few kind of interesting conversations recently, particularly in this industry where there's, we talk a lot about disruption, leaders disrupting. There's quite a lot of disruption happening in telecoms after a period of relative stability and a lot of kind of focus. I think 5G potentially and the potential of 5G is really shaking things up, isn't it? That people can start to do new things, right?
Yeah, it's not just 5G. I think 5G is let's say, the part of it, but it's the whole ecosystem to transform the enterprise business to do things different. And it's basically to provide a platform or an ecosystem so they can develop application the same way application were developed or being developed in the consumer market.
Yeah.
And it is a huge market. It's a huge opportunity, and that's what we are embarking on
Fantastic.
right now.
And obviously, you've seen it from different levels, different kind of corporates. You've obviously seen the market move over those 25 years. And one thing we always focus on within these podcasts is yourself as a leader. So for me, obviously, with this role that you've got, where you're disrupting or changing the industry, what would you say the most kind of significant challenges that you've encountered as a leader, and in your business as you take it probably from startup to kind of more mature business?
That's a good question. And it's a challenge for a small company, big company, medium company.
Mm.
It's a challenge for
Yeah, yeah.
every organization, is to set this balance between
Mm.
shareholders, customers, and employees.
Yeah.
How can you set a balance? And it's key not only to the success of the company, but also the long term sustainability of the business
Yeah.
to maintain that balance.
So you talk there about kind of investors and customers. How do you strike that balance? How do you feel the best way for you to, with where your business is at the moment, what's the best way that you can do that?
Yeah, it's everyday challenge. It's not something you just solve and and you sit back. It's actually every day. In every decision you take, you have to think about what is the impact on your team, what is the impact on your shareholders
Mm.
and investors, and also what's the impact on your customer. What
Mm.
makes it easy though is that you make your employees shareholders, and
Sure.
make them also in tune with your customers.
Mm.
So that makes things easy because everybody think the same way toward that balanced
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah, no, we at GCS we did an MBO, so we became part of a group called Engage, and I was really proud that we were able to, with quite a lot of the senior team, to kind of give them equity within the business and let them hopefully as we grow, kind of you know get some of the benefits of that. And I think it does change somewhat when you have equity, when you're bought into, you're aligned with the growth of the business, isn't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and then as a disruptor, as a leader, you talk about customers there. Do you need to be quite, structured with what you can, you know, do they provide you with challenges that maybe in technology at this moment isn't, you can't surmount that problem now, or with the business as it is, or are you quite open to, give me any challenge that you have, Mr. Customer, and we will try to deal with it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about collaboration
Mm.
and work in the bigger picture with
Mm.
your customer and have them in tune with your priorities and their priority, and we you be in tune with their priorities. So I think that's the only way to do it, is to actually create that relationship that help in we are in a journey together. So it's not just I'm throwing something over the fence and someone use it. We're actually in a journey together to transform this industry and do things better and make a good business. So with that approach, it works this way.
And looking at those challenges, as a leader itself, and you talk about your team, you talk about the stakeholders, shareholders, and the customers. Um, what do you feel is the best way to kind of overcome those challenges? How do you plan your time? How do you strategize and think about your main priorities for the next year?
Yeah, I mean, for next year, for us, we went through phases. So the first phase was creating technologies. I mean, every company, the intellectual property is really a very important part of it. So create technologies, and then second phase, we work and collaborated with customers in understanding what are the pain points that
Mm.
they will face or they are facing or they envision or we envision that they will face, and find solution for it, and then validate the solution and validate the vision, and then
Mm.
finally that now you need to grow and you need to deliver to that vision. We are at that stage now, so we are We
Yeah.
validated the vision, and we're working on growing the company to deliver to this vision.
Fantastic. So those that customer reach out and those building those customers now, you could argue that the hard bit, as it were, in making your place within the market is done, and now it's about actually kind of delivering onto that. And does that change the context of yourself as a leader? Interestingly, we've got a part of our business where you know we're starting to monetize a bit. In the past, we've not been so monetized, and it's been almost kind of a pipe dream. Right, we're going to get to monetizing. And I had a conversation. We've won a large project, and kind of around the recruitment services point is like, right, we've got paying customers now. So you've now got people who are actually paying us money. So you have to kind of change the mentality somewhat. Do you think that's
Yeah,
good for the business? Obviously, it is good for the business because it brings in money, right? But it's
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's again, as I said, it's a journey, and in every step of the journey, there are challenges and there are different different things you need to look at and anticipate it and build your own plan and strategy. Strategy is very important, so
yeah,
you need to always be ahead of the game and build your strategy to deliver. It's I call them try to create solution for the happy problems, right? So there are
yeah,
happy
yeah.
problems if you face growth and growth pain or growing pain. That's a happy problem. If your business is booming suddenly, that's a happy problem. You have to anticipate it. You cannot just wait
Yeah.
till it happens and you do it. And that's the role of the leader is to do that.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, that's
to
right. And you try
uh,
and put yourself in those positions where you're creating solutions to happy problems, don't you? If you're
exactly,
not, then you're probably doing something wrong as a leader. And
exactly.
you're obviously out there speaking to these customers, these people that you're speaking to within the telecoms industry. I guess they're partners and also end users, within different industries. What are the key pieces of advice you're kind of giving them with regards to how to use network solutions, how the telecoms industry is going to change, and I guess how to work with Zeetta to benefit from that?
Yeah, so I would say three comes top of my mind. Three things. The first one is create environment that encourages collaboration. This
Sure.
is this is key. That's the first, and it's very important to do that. And then second, don't do change in a slow, like do leap of change, like big moves,
Yeah.
and change the way you work with your vendors and your customers alike. So change the way of doing business. Honestly, any change is 70% business and 30% technology. So
Yeah.
don't focus too much on what technology is that one better than this one or any of these technology decisions. They are important. They're very important. But I think the way to do business is as important, if it's not more.
Yeah.
And treat every project like a startup. So projects need to be treated like a startup. Fail fast, big success.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need to treat any project like that. Finally, the connectivity, and I don't want to call it telecom only. The connectivity industry missed a big opportunity in the consumer market
Yeah.
or the consumer application, and definitely cloud provider were the winners there. The enterprise opportunity, it is as big if it's not much bigger, and it will require collaboration between the cloud and the telecom industry in one way or another. So my advice to connectivity or telecom leaders, don't miss this one. It is as big as the consumer if it's not
Yeah.
bigger. So that's
Do
my
you think?
advice.
I mean, so just the way I see it, like you're obviously talking about the cloud solutions, right? So the cloud solutions to me have always been, you've got this cloud. No one really knows kind of how it kind of works in the background, but it's very, very flexible. It's how you can use it, how you can integrate with it. the sort of things such as kind of AWS, etc., are very kind of open source. So anyone can put anything on AWS and make any type of software work. From what I'm kind of getting from you is that in the past, and from other kind of providers in the connectivity industry, let's call it, it's always been like, this is the way it's done. You have to do it like this. This is it. You have to buy these routers. You have to buy this way of connecting to this network, and you have to use this network, and that's it. And then it's pretty much solidified, isn't it? I think what you're trying to say here is that the connectivity industry can become as flexible and as, disruptive, to use that term, as the cloud industry, but really it has to really learn from the cloud industry and also collaborate with the cloud industry itself, rather than being this kind of monolith that doesn't really ever change.
You said it completely the way I would have said it. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely correct. And this is where we are in Zeetta, is we actually providing, and just to add to what you said, the connectivity industry today is also became cloud, because with network virtualization and edge computing and so on, it's also became something you can get on demand, you can scale up and down, you can change. So the cloud is a cloud, and the connectivity became like the cloud. Then definitely the enterprise want to see one interface, one culture, one way of interfacing to it. The other thing is, the way enterprise used to build network, they used to build one size fits all network, where you make one big network, you own big part of it, and you have all applications sitting on top of it, and that was really hard to manage, and then it's also expensive. And now they're set to upgrade it, but they have an opportunity to change the way they do business and use 5G and get access to this virtualized infrastructure. And that's what we do. We're providing that, I call it the last meter interface to the enterprise to use this the same way they use the cloud. So this way they can focus on innovation and not focus on solving day-to-day problems with networking.
They're not driven by the limitations of one type of system. They can kind of move beyond those types of systems.
Exactly.
Just from my side, there's always been a bit of a, you talk about collaboration, has there always been a bit of a kind of competition and